That was funny. I was always a science fiction fan, and I had read just about everything published. There wasn't as much in 1967 as there is today, but I had read just about everything I could get my hands on, which was pretty much just about everything. And the first episode of Star Trek was on the air, and I said, you know, this could be something good.
Space, the final frontier.
It was Thursday night, 8:30, NBC, and I sat down Friday morning and started writing an outline for an episode I wanted to submit. I was already at USC Film School. I think it was 2 days later, either Tuesday or Wednesday, that we heard from Gene L. Kuhn. He said, this young man can write. We can't do this story, but we'd like to see what else he can do. And he invited me down to the set, to the offices to meet him, and we talked, and he told me what I should do, and he gave me the Star Trek Writer's Guide. And I went home and studied it and started preparing stories for the second season, and I brought back 5 really good ones. Well, I thought they were terrific. And one of them, which he sort of, I don't know if we can do this, was about these little fuzzy animals that bred like crazy. He said, this is going to be expensive.
You're talking yourself out of a deal, friend.
And I argued for it. I said, well, but you do it this way and you do it that way, and you bring in like these hairballs from the keychains. So 4 days later, I was in his office with the first draft script, and he bought it. I was fast.
The mission was completed.
I still am fast, but with Star Trek, there was a whole other space to go. You just got so enthused you didn't sleep or eat. You just, you know, I'd get up from the typewriter going, yes, yes!
Who put the Tribbles in the Quadro Triticale?
This is so good! I had so much fun with that script. I mean, I just fall down laughing. The idea for The Trouble with Tribbles happened, it came at me from 3 directions. I've always been fascinated by the story of rabbits in Australia, that somebody had brought rabbits to Australia in the 20s and they'd gotten loose, and there are no natural predators for rabbits in Australia, and so in a space of like 5 years, I believe, they were all over the continent. And they still have a rabbit problem in Australia today.
You may be wondering just how the Tribbles get around. It took the ingenuity of prop designer Jimmy Rugg to make these small 5-inch diameter creatures move about as the story required. He used Japanese-made walking electrical toy dogs. And then he cut away the exterior and inserted it into a Tribble body. And to make them seem lifelike, he inserted small balloons inside each Tribble, which were attached to air hoses that ran off stage out of sight. And the Tribbles appear to be pulsating by alternating the air pressure.
Oh, it's adorable. What is it?
What is it? Why, lovely lady, it's a Tribble.
There was a lot of difference between the way I thought of it and the way it aired. What they shot was funnier.
Aye, they're into the machinery, all right.
I wasn't intending to be quite that funny. I wanted just this whimsical sense. But what happened is once we started working on the script, Dorothy would come in with something, and Gene L. Kuhn would come in with something. But Dorothy had a lot of suggestions, and the actors kept coming up with pieces of business. And Joe Pevney is a terrific director. He said, let's try this, or let's do that.
And I didn't know that Shatner was funny up until that episode. And 100 Tribbles come down on his head. He does a great take, almost into the camera. I mean, they're all falling on his head, and he does... and looks up, and then looks down, and one more Tribble comes floating down his head. And he does a great take. And I'm sure that he never had a chance to do that before. And for Lenny Nimoy to talk about the Tribbles, you know.
1,771,561.
And to go very seriously about how they're reproducing.
That's assuming one Tribble multiplying with an average litter of 10, producing a new generation every 12 hours over a period of 3 days.
The trouble with Tribbles is it's a break in Star Trek reality. We did a few other comedies, but The Trouble with Tribbles is truly one of the ones that says these people, these actors, are not only funny, but they're willing to be funny. By letting them use those abilities in a story, we had a great deal of fun.
Close that door.
They cause a great deal of trouble.
So when I finally saw the episode, I was on the floor laughing because I didn't know they had done that. And the whole business with Cyrano walking out and saying, I have a ship to tend to, au revoir. And then Kirk goes,
I have a ship to tend to. Au revoir.
I had no idea that Star Trek could get quite that funny because everything before then had been serious. And I knew that this was a funny show, but it wasn't going to be a fall-down laughing comedy in its first conception. It was just going to be a light show. And what happened is everybody realized that there was a lot of room to get comedic without losing the sense of who the characters were.
Alas, poor Yorick. Oh. Chief Engineer Montgomery Scott is prominently featured in The Trouble with Tribbles. James Doohan debuted in Star Trek's first season episode Where No Man Has Gone Before, and he went on to make significant contributions to the success of the Enterprise's mission and the series itself. And besides acting as Mr. Scott, he lent his voice to many characters throughout the series.